Welcome to UTB Blogcast number 103. It's been a good week for BlackBerry. So good, in fact, that we've lost most of our cast.
They're castaways.
Yeah, we've cast away the cast. So
Yeah.
we've got Dave here, we got Roy here, and we have this Brad here. The other Brad, apparently, I was reading on Twitter, is at a wedding. He couldn't even tell us that. He just tweeted it out apparently.
Yeah, he could have done a wedding cast. I mean, what's up with that?
Seriously, everyone could have congratulated the bride and groom, or this is 2017, could be bride and bride, groom and groom. I don't know, but we could have congratulated everybody.
Yeah, but no,
he's got to be all Mr. Antisocial, off having fun in real life instead of talking to old men on the internet. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Who goes to a wedding on a Friday night?
Now you're creeping me out.
So, there's really been no news this week, huh?
I know.
No.
This should be a short one, and I'm thinking 20, 30 seconds. There's nothing. There's nothing to talk about at all.
Well, this was the earnings call we have been waiting for, right?
Yeah, a lot of time.
You think so? Because this is just an off-the-cuff or knee-jerk reaction, and I don't mean to sound jaded, but we've all had pent-up or built-up expectations or hopes and desires and dreams when the earnings calls were coming.
Dave, this is the UTB Blogcast. We're talking about BlackBerry. I don't know.
Oh
where
yeah,
you're going.
sorry. No, that was.
Am I comfortable with this?
Yeah. Okay, shut up. Anyway. We've all had our anticipations, at earnings calls and whatnot, and in the past, I've had some expectations. I'll just lay it on myself. I've had expectations in the past, and not necessarily seen, what I had expected to happen, especially with the share price afterwards. And of course, over the last 2 or 3, you sort of start to see this, oh, look, there's light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. And then to have what happened yesterday and today, for crying out loud, it's the weekend now, so we'll wait and see what happens on Monday and next week, whatever, because the markets are closed. But I'm really surprised. I'm kind of surprised. I'm not surprised at Chen, really, because I've always had this faith that he could pull off this turnaround thing based on prior and or past performance. But this being the one, I wasn't necessarily expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. I guess it's the long version of saying I wasn't expecting what I've seen over the last 2 days. So, wow.
So
I'm impressed.
You were surprised. Would that be a way? Dave could have just said, "Hey, I was surprised," and we'd be like 30 seconds into the podcast instead of.
Yeah. If I ever do my own blogcast, it's not going to be called Dave's Short Answer. Because it doesn't exist. There's something.
So, Roy, you've got the numbers. You've looked at the numbers, I think, more than the rest of us. Anything that you want to point to? Anything that you want to?
There are a few points. First of all, it's the first quarter. I think a lot of times at BlackBerry, the total revenue is up. It's up by $3 million. It's all GAAP numbers.
GAAP.
Say GAAP. GAAP.
Yeah, it's funny that it's like the difference between GIF and GIF.
Yeah.
It's GAAP. It's general.
So it's GAAP. I'm only speaking on GAAP. So it's 3 million up on the total revenue. The most important topic from this highlight is the software revenue, $196 million on a software revenue. Last quarter it was 160. So that means that the software transition, it's really work, and BlackBerry knows how to make money from software. I think this is the point that the street realized that BlackBerry are a software company, and this transition is better than everyone expected.
Yeah. And I saw a couple of comments, because you keep one eye on some things when you're running around like a head with your chicken cut off at work. And I keep one eye on what some other people say, and some of the naysayers and some of the fence riders are talking about looking at the actual that they're getting out of the software sales. So, and that's got so much more profit associated with it compared to hardware sales. And it's like finally your light bulb went on when recurring revenue happens and you start to sell licenses and software and stuff like that. It makes more money than the hardware thing. So there's more people getting on the bandwagon, and the more people that get on the bandwagon, the more positive news that you hear, and that can't do anything but support the share price to go as interestingly upward as it has been over the last 2 days.
And they make earning per share 5 cents, and the street thought it will be break even. So I think I said it on the offline. There are few BlackBerry analyst haters that don't know what to do with themselves after a few years that they said that BlackBerry is done, even after the software transition. And now Chen showed everyone that what he thought from the beginning, this is the right thing to do.
Right.
And of course, I think there is a 90% of recruiting from UEM enterprise customers. This is a big number. That means that enterprise number are staying, and they're just new ones, and nobody leave BlackBerry enterprise services.
Yeah.
And what's that?
It's like Hotel California.
Do you have the margin there, Roy? Because that's what really stuck out for me was the gross margin.
The gross margin is 74 JAP. Just to compare to the last quarter, it was 64.
Yeah, that is incredible. And I know last quarter we were talking about that. And I mean, that goes back to what Dave was talking about. When software is, I mean, you build it, you make it, you sell it, it's out there. And then as you continue to sell it, that's all gross margin, because all your development costs, any server space. I mean, you may need to increase your server space, but it's not like hardware where every phone that you sell, you have to actually have product costs to it, right? There's no product costs to selling software to another customer.
Yeah.
It's already there.
New deals with Qualcomm or whoever you're dealing with, all this crap and people's modems and this and that. And the other thing is that's hard money. Software is a lot easier money, especially when I buy a phone. That's not necessarily a recurring thing, right?
Yeah.
Except the fact that I break them or get greedy or want another one, like I want another one right now.
Chen interviewed from BNN. This is Canadian channel, BNN.
I believe it is, yeah. Business News Network.
Okay. And he said that from now on we will see a better result from BlackBerry, but it won't be smooth one. So we will still see obstacles, you say, until the autonomous cars will be a live product.
Yeah.
And then we will see a better result, and then BlackBerry will be safe, like he want to be safe. Because
Right.
in the moment that autonomous cars will be on market, QNX will make tons of money.
Yeah, and
My words.
it's good that you brought that up. Or I had that in one ear as I was working away yesterday, or was it yesterday or this morning? Anyway, and I was one thing caught my ear, and it was that he couldn't tell us who he was working with, but it was an end user, auto manufacturer. I don't know who it is, like a Ford maybe. I don't know if it was Ford, but he was very interested in emphasizing the additional components that QNX has as various modules, like 5 or 6 different modules that you could buy as a vehicle manufacturer. And not just for the basic infotainment thing that they've been doing for a long time, but for ADAS and other forms of, different components that you can use in the car. And I think there's like 5 of them. Anyway, so his vision is that instead of $2 or $3 per car, you're going to see upwards of $20 or $25 a car, depending on how many of these modules people want, companies want to put in their vehicles. And he was very much looking forward to this new partnership, which he couldn't name. So that may or may not be on a doorstep. Every time he says something like that, it happens. Yeah, he doesn't even let that kind of thing slip out without it being very close to real. Interesting. Those kind of things are why I think the share price has gone the way it has.
I think now the investors and the street are really believe that BlackBerry can be a leader in an industry that is just growing up.
I'm not so sure they believe it. You know what I mean? It's all been about.
Now they believe.
Well, I mean, I think they probably grudgingly know it's going to happen, as opposed to being rah, look what's happening. Because I mean, if you look at, I mean, I look at my Twitter feed as my news feed, right? And I look at my Twitter feed after every one of these calls, and I'm just hammered by, there's stuff that we have considered positive out of every one of these calls. There's things that we look at as a fan blog as, hey, this is great, this is great, this is great. We'll do better on this, we'll do better on this. It'd be great if we did better on this, right? That's how we look at it. We look at the positives. But after each earnings call, my Twitter feed is just hammered with whatever they can find that's negative. It could be something minor, and they find this, and they're going to hammer it in for the next week. And this earnings call, which was all good, like BlackBerry's not even mentioned in my feed except for the BlackBerry people that I follow, right? Other sites, other people within our own community.
They didn't find anything bad to say.
Yeah, but they're also not out there cheering it along either, is what I'm getting at.
And that's really interesting that you point that out, Brad. When I got up in the morning yesterday, I always have this particular news talk station on. That's what I wake up to. It's kind of depressing. Anyway, and there's always this guy's very intelligent guy comes on every day and gives his opinion on what's going on in the market and in business and whatever for a couple minutes. And he's very well known in this area. And not a word. And that was because I've heard him 100 times over the last few years, especially when the earnings call comes out, talk about this, talk about BlackBerry and this and that and the other thing. And this time, not a bloody peep. And so why is that? And so the morning's starting to roll around. I haven't even gotten the information yet about what happened 3 hours ago, because it all happened 3 hours before I got up. And I start looking around and I'm going, holy crap, it's a big freaking wall of good news. Like, why didn't that guy say anything? I don't get it. But it's almost like watching the 6 o'clock news. It's all the disasters that get the headlines. Not good news, unless it's Apple. What's up with that?
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's so frustrating though that, I mean, the entire time that we have been doing this, it's all been about looking and seeing what people are writing negative and what we need to correct as far as our storylines go, our narrative. But this time it was all good and just nobody's really talking about it.
Yeah, because BlackBerry are now not a smartphone manufacturer, and people prefer to talk about companies that make smartphones or lose to Apple and Samsung in the smartphone race, and not about a company that make QNX for autonomous cars, IoT device like the Radar, or receive a NIOP certification for government use.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is also a comeback from behind story. And
I saw some comeback headlines from few sites. Yeah. I saw even Seeking Alpha analysts write that the headline, did BlackBerry really come back? And he said yes in the end. But if BlackBerry were still making handsets, my guess that everybody would talk about it.
My guess is they wouldn't have had a great earnings call. Possibly not have even had an earnings call this week.
Yeah, and as funny as that sounds, it's true. And the horrible, horrible Band-Aid that we all had to rip off a couple of years ago, it was just that. You know, if you're going to do this thing, if you're going to fix it, then this is the way to fix it. This is the road. And all the groans and horrified faces and whatnot. And so here we are today in what, like I said at the beginning, that took too long. You know, here we are on a day after 2 days of, you know, pretty interesting stock price increases. And where are the shorts? Where are the naysayers? Where are the bellyachers? Well, they're either trying to cover their shorts or they got nothing bad to say. Maybe that'll come next week. I don't know. They're going to have to dig real hard because usually it comes within hours, the naysayers. It comes within hours, but there isn't any.
They opened search groups on Telegram. They still find a way to communicate.
When it's working. Anyway, yeah, so for whatever, you know, the price, the share price was quite surprisingly, in my humble opinion, up. What was it? 12 or 13% yesterday from opening. And for anybody's stock to do that in a day is interesting. And then today, one might have historically expected it to go down a bit and stay down a bit or fluctuate or do something and maybe end up in and around the same but slightly lower. No. The stock price gave everybody the finger and did another 50% of that increase for a total of something like 19% over 2 days. I cannot tell you the last time that happened, especially after an earnings call quarter. So is this something new? I saw, like Roy, I saw an article, one of many, on Seeking Alpha, and somebody whose last sentence was something in the neighborhood of, you know, begrudgingly, that's the wrong word, but it was kind of the way it was read, or a way I read it, begrudgingly, you know, I'll kind of take a look at this and maybe I'll get back in and around the $10 mark, you know, when that happens. And I quoted that and just said, you know, really? You think $10 the new floor? Really? And so he took exception to that, the author of the article. I said, oh, well, you know, it's just my number, pal. You know, you don't have to like it. Really? Anyway, the negativity is getting weaker, is my point. It's just getting weaker, and to the point where full circle's coming around, where all of the positive people are getting drowned out. Guess what? It's now the naysayers getting drowned out.
And there is more news. BlackBerry signed few deals. Some of them we really waited for, like the BlackBerry Secure OS deal with the long company name from China.
I don't even know what that name is, but it is really long or something. I can't remember what it is. And
New Telecom Science and Technology Company Limited.
Yeah,
or something. And NTD for short, which is what I like. NTD. And so what are they doing? Are they like a third party? Are they going to take that license and allow other manufacturers? Like, are they a manufacturer?
Yeah, they manufacture for other companies, and
okay,
they will
so
use
they're OEM. They're making
BlackBerry
things for OEMs.
And I read the press release, and the first device, it will be a smartphone device. They will make it for a Swiss company, and I forgot the name.
Will it be a chocolate bar phone?
No, it will be for Equilis Technologies Switzerland AG of Zurich.
Oh yeah, I know all of them. Or not. Yeah,
no. So they will make a device for this company, and the device will run the BlackBerry Secure OS.
Right.
Yeah. So this, I mean, because this one kind of confused me, because it seemed like this is exactly what Alex was saying wasn't going to happen when he was on our podcast. But essentially, I mean, these are not going to be BlackBerry phones. These are going to be branded something else. However, they will be BlackBerry Secure. So this is what we were expecting to see on smart TVs and cameras and all the other things that we were talking about just a week ago, I think. And it's actually going to happen on smartphones, which I think a week ago I said was not going to happen.
Well, that must have been a week ago effort or something. I don't know what I mean by that, but it's a stretch to make a joke. So they're looking at doing smartphones and more, or just, you think smartphones, or?
This company, Equilis, is our artificial intelligence solution securing the Internet of Things company. So it's logic that they will use a secure OS.
I mean,
it'll be interesting.
If you recall, was it 3 weeks ago, I guess now, episode number 100, when we had Alex on here, he was talking about how Chin wanted to see BlackBerry Secure, and now we're seeing it. So this is just the first of what we can expect many agreements of coming.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure they're ankle deep in getting agreements worked out right now. This is just the first one that we've seen for BlackBerry Secure.
Yeah. So what's the bet? Smartphone first or IoT device first?
I think the press release said a smartphone first. I think it actually made that clear.
I
was
think
going to
they
bet
said the first product from this partnership will be an all-touch smartphone, which all use BlackBerry's suite of device software, secure technologies, and secure enterprise collaboration technologies.
Cool. I like it.
It's expected to ship early 2018. Customers and markets for the smartphone will be announced at a later date. And
well, it's more licensing, more software revenue, more.
I'm now on the Equus website, and there's our partners are recommended trusted partners. There is Google, NTD, and the BlackBerry logo. So
Beauty.
My guess, they have BlackBerry they published the BlackBerry Secure licensing deal. My guess that BlackBerry worked with this company in the past, maybe.
Don't know.
But it's great.
Should know, don't know, had a busy day.
So we also have Tokyo Electron Device, which is going to be, it looks to me like a reseller of the QNX SDP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the software development platform. Not sure what the hell they're going to do with that thing.
Specific to Japan?
Yeah, it's looked like that.
So that's interesting. I mean, I know, or am I right in saying Toyota dropped it?
Not all of Toyota.
Okay.
Still.
And so for these guys to be picking it up is an extremely positive piece of news. But I'm scrambling to think of what it applies to, what product, what
well, I mean, they're that company. I looked at their page. They're all over the place. I mean, they really are. But they're like a supplier for other manufacturers as well. So I mean, they're selling, and they're selling in all these different areas. So it could be anything. We know that QNX isn't stuck to cars. We know QNX is definitely not stuck to smartphones. I mean, there are vacuum cleaners and refrigerators out there that run QNX, along with space shuttles and nuclear power stations. So I mean, you could use QNX on anything that requires an operating system, which coming into the IoT is going to be.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. There's a Roomba type vacuum cleaner that runs QNX.
I would never have my product in something that sucks. It's just not a good idea, man. You know what I'm saying? You
do know you're part of the Blogcast, right? So
but
your product is already in something that quite often sucks. Quite possibly tonight, as a matter of fact. But
yeah. Anyway, it's probably a car thing off the bat, but you never know what's going to come out of it, right?
I really don't. I really don't expect these deals to end up in those major things that we're hoping for. I don't expect to see a car deal out of this. I expect to see small IoT devices out of this. I mean, we're talking about Japan that lives on the leading edge of technology, right? And new IoT products do you think we're going to see coming out of Japan? I think a lot. And I think that this is a way for QNX to get in there.
Yeah, well, they got lots of stuff to be mission critical, including their nuclear power plants. But
or their nuclear evasive missiles.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, I don't know.
Just Rocket Man playing again. But
yeah.
Say what?
So yeah, that's another signing. I guess it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. But anybody who signs up for the software development program does so in earnest and for a reason. And so it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything definitive.
Well, again, they're selling it. I don't expect to see them making anything out of it. They're selling it. Their deal is to, if that's the one I'm thinking of, and don't make me go back and start reading again, but I think their deal is to distribute the QNX STP.
Right. And well, whatever. I mean, you don't sign up to do something like that for no reason. You've got a market, you've got a reason to be, and you've got customers, and you don't do it just for something to do. So it'll be really interesting to see what comes of it. Not sure what in Japan, because I think it's just in Japan that the market is for the SDP. So what are they going to do with it? I don't know. Japan makes a hell of a lot of cars. That's a no-brainer, shoe-in kind of a deal. And what else they can do with it, I don't know, because there's an awful lot of products that come from there. I wish I knew. I wish I could see something that I knew was going to come from it, but I don't know.
And we have the Titanium. They're expanding the partnership with BlackBerry about the BlackBerry radar.
Yeah, I mean, we had the earnings call this week. We saw big news that, the larger news that we were kind of hoping to see all the money coming in, and then we're seeing all these small little deals come in. Now this Titanium deal is really, I mean, okay, BlackBerry radar is one of the smaller aspects of what you see about BlackBerry, right? But this is actually a fairly large deal, right? This isn't something small that should be going by the wayside. This is, am I right? Am I wrong? What's going on here?
Well, there's two versions of radar that I'm aware of. One's radar L, and I think Roy was equating that to light, so radar light, and radar M. So what's that? Medium or monstrous or I don't know what. So there's two versions, radar L and radar M. And I can't really tell whether Titanium was already into the radar M thing and was expanding to use radar L. But as far as I know, the radar L version, the light version, they're using on all of their flatbeds. So we know that radar, at least initially or habitually, has been used to get connected for, people's containers, and then they'd be on ships, and then they'd be on trucks, and then you'd know where they went and how they were doing from point A to point B. Well, the L unit in this case is not on the container, it's actually on their flatbeds. So now they know where all their flatbeds are and what they're doing compared to what you put on the flatbed, which is very possibly a container that has a radar M on it or whatever. So it's an expansion of product into Titanium. And does anybody know if Titanium had the M first, or are they just into the L thing? Or
I don't know what they had first. I don't know if they had a product or if they were on a trial. I just know that they're full bore now.
Yeah, and so the L was. The L is something, it's a cut down version, it's a light version, and maybe it doesn't do temperatures and that kind of thing for the device that it's connected to, but it of course does the locations and GPS type deal.
They started with the radar M on 1,200 trailers. And now they are expanding to deploy radar L across its fleet bed.
So trailers, is that the same as a flatbed, or they just figured they could do whatever they wanted with L and just did that to the rest of their flatbeds, or trailers? I wonder what they mean by that.
You don't know the difference between flatbeds and trailers?
Well, You can have a truck without a trailer. I don't know.
The new L rudder is designed for rapid installation on flatbeds, chassis, containers, heavy machinery, and other valuable transportation or non-powered assets.
Mm-hmm.
Non-powered assets is what it said?
Yeah.
So they're standalone. Okay.
So it's probably not going to have anything to do with your temperature. It could, I mean...
No, L doesn't. I know it doesn't.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's talking about containers... Because, I mean, that's the difference between a flatbed is what you see driving around that doesn't have any walls or roof or doors on it. A trailer is the full-on container. So it...
Well,
I don't know what
container is what you put on top of the flatbed, right?
Well, a trailer
Flatbed is the transport device, and the container is the cargo.
You
guys must have weird trucks up there in Iglooville.
Titanium SVP and General Manager of RAD. This is from BlackBerry. Titanium was an early adopter of our BlackBerry Rudder solution, and we are privileged that they have entrusted their entire fleet of trailers and commercial vehicles to the BlackBerry Rudder portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the one important here is in this deal is that Titanium have more than 1,000 trailers, and if every trailer will get one rudder, it means a lot of BlackBerry rudders and a lot of revenue from each device to BlackBerry.
Yeah. And I'm gonna see if Brad can spell radar backwards.
And
sure
Titanium have 400 power units. So maybe this is the non-vehicle asset that they can install the rudder on it.
I would assume those to be like reefers, the powered, the
coal. No. BlackBerry doesn't have anything to do with reefers. That's bad news, man.
Refrigerated trailers, Dave.
That's madness. Yeah, that would be reefer madness. I'm telling you.
So what else we have this week?
We also have American Red Cross. American Red Cross has extended their ad hoc partnership. So I mean, that's just one more brick in the wall of BlackBerry's services that are being used by everyone.
Yeah, this time BlackBerry donate the ad hoc services to the American Red Cross.
Well, you know what? I think there's been it's been a while, perhaps, and maybe I'm overstepping here, but I think it's been a while since BlackBerry's been actually able to take a deep breath and go, you know what, we can afford to do this, and then go ahead and do that. And so it really feels good to know that they're taking a step to say, here's a good thing for humanity. Here's a great thing for a good organization. Let's support them by allowing them to use these tools to make their business and humanity better. So you gotta like that. Kudos to BlackBerry for A, doing that, and B, freaking being in a position to do that.
And at a time when doing that can really come in handy with our
oh man,
current hurricane situation. Think about that.
No kidding.
It is an emergency response software, and we've had quite an emergent year here.
Brutal.
I mean, not here. I'm fine where I live. It's just a little hot, but other citizens have had a really rough time.
Yep. It's.
I think that the American Red Cross, they mentioned how ATOC helped them to manage the teams in the hurricane in Houston.
Yeah. Hey, taking a step back to Japan, earlier Rico said, don't forget the medical products with the BlackBerry Secure label. And that's something that we didn't speak about. And yeah, that is a absolutely huge market. It's a market where QNX was already in, I believe, even before they were picked up by BlackBerry. And it's, you want to talk about advanced technology and Japan. Well, there you go. There's no telling what we're going to see coming out of QNX over the next few years. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Thanks for that, Rico. I also know that Japan is right into the robotics thing. And if you've ever looked at videos from...
Don't talk about the sex bots, Dave. Please don't talk about the sex bots.
I'm proud to say that you came up with that and not me, because I wasn't even thinking about that.
Well, I know that if I ever got one, I'd want it to be BlackBerry Secure. So what were you saying, Dave?
I can make a joke right now, but it's not a good thing. Anyway, I'll say it after hours. Okay, now I forgot what. Oh yeah. If you've ever seen videos, robotics type videos that were put out by companies such as Honda or Toyota, you'd see how pretty damn good these guys are getting at creating units that can walk upstairs and just walk around and interact. And so, having an SDP, development platform such as QNX in those kinds of scenarios, and with, of course, like Rico said, in medical devices or autonomy, remote surgical things, whatever you can think of, that's those things have to be secure. So, as far as robotics go, I don't know. What's that new movie going to come out that's off on a old movie?
Blade Runner?
I'll think of it. Yeah, Blade Runner. Yeah. Those things run on QNX. Scary, but they do.
So is there any other new BlackBerry business from this week we want to talk about? Or can we start talking about PBM and
failures?
such?
Yeah. Oh. I don't know. There's probably a bunch of stuff on the subjects that we touched on, especially the earnings call that maybe we didn't touch on, but whatever.
Well, last week we went 2 hours, and I definitely don't want to do that again. Did you know we went 2 hours last week?
Didn't feel like it. Well, I wasn't there for half of it, so no.
Oh yeah,
you didn't feel like it.
But if you notice, when BlackBerry Brad from Barry Reporter is here, we tend to double our time. So just, from now on, when BlackBerry Brad's here, maybe we'll want to do a part 1 and part 2.
What are you saying? He's full of shit just like me, or what?
No, he's great on these. He gets us talking. There's like no blank space between, and he has good things to say. I think he just keeps us going. Like he's our little Energizer bunny when he's on here.
Yeah,
I can talk about it when he's not here.
He needs his own show.
He's got his own show. It comes on Thursdays.
I was on it once.
Were you on it once? No, that was the new Team BlackBerry that hasn't come back yet. But he's got the Barry Report podcast where he actually talks by himself because Art hasn't been around recently.
Well, I talk to myself.
Yeah, but that's his mental, so.
Yeah, and it's not good for a podcast either.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we got old stuff this week. BBM pins, for those of us that have been subscribing to them, the custom BBM pins, we're not going to be billed for them any longer.
No, I did. I got a notification the other day saying that my subscription was going to lapse as of October. I don't remember the date. Might have been the 1st, might have been later in the month. And so as soon as I saw that, I went and looked and saw an update to BBM, and was able to procure or secure the same, the same pin that I had that I was paying for. So anybody that's out there that is under subscription for your own pin, go right away. Go to your BBM.
Go Power Rangers.
Yeah. and go secure the pin that you're used to, or make a new one, whatever you want to do. But it's available, like Brad said, and go get it. Giddy up.
Well, I didn't have a BBM update, and I didn't have to re-procure my pin. I've still got it. It's right there.
That's funny. I mean, I went and did it because I didn't want to lose it. And it led me through the process and said, yeah, you're good with that. So I would have thought maybe if it was unnecessary, that it would have said, hey man, that's already there, don't worry about it, or that's already taken, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it let me take it, so whatever. I was assuming that it was a necessary step, and maybe I'm incorrect. That's very possible. Like getting up this morning, that was not a good idea. Bad idea.
Well, yeah. Well, the point is that we can now have custom pins for free. Everyone can get them. If you don't have it yet, run out and get it as fast as you can. Now, I will say that there are some new rules to it that wasn't there before. Now there has to be, what is it, a number, an underscore. Now, my previous pin that I was paying for carried over. I didn't go sign up for it. It's there. I can't change it if I wanted to. And that doesn't abide by the rules. That is just letters.
Yeah, mine is letters only. Mine is letters only.
So I signed up for mine. Think about this. I didn't unsubscribe or anything from the notification that I got. I went to my BBM. I went to me, and I went to, subscribe to my personal pin, and I used the exact same one that I've had, and it didn't argue with me and didn't give me those rules, and it was successful. So explain that, Lucy.
I don't know. I didn't have to do any of that, and I'm just trying to get the news out that there's free custom pins now, and I can't get that sentence out before Dave tells me how he did it. And so let's just say free custom pins are here. My God, man, you don't even let me set up.
Okay, everybody, shut up and let Brad.
Oh, it's there now. It's there. So Dave's got his. We know how he did it. Roy and I have ours.
It worked also on BlackBerry 10. I don't know.
Well, that is the question, because if you go through BlackBerry 10, it still shows as a subscription, and that because this is actually a question that's coming up in the group. What we saw the first day anyway, it shows as a subscription. It shows as free, but it wasn't. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening there. We know that they won't be charging anymore. It shows as free, and I don't know if anybody that had a subscription on BB10, I don't know what's happened to them, if it's carried over to where it's still going to be there. I know that people aren't able to sign up for it right now. I don't know if that's going to change in the future. Again, that's something that's happening when you're talking about BB10 BBM. That's something on BlackBerry's side. When you're talking about anything else BBM, that is MTech. And they're the ones that are bringing these new features to BBM. They're the ones that are in charge of these new
consumer BBM. Yeah.
Consumer BBM. It doesn't mean that this is going to happen on BB10. We don't know
yet.
Yeah.
More news?
And I mean that I've seen a lot of people asking BBM and I'm sorry, BBM won't be able to tell you what's going to happen on BB10. They have absolutely nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Do they have anything
They
to do
don't
with
know.
that? No.
They don't know anything more than we know. I mean, in all honesty.
Which is nothing. Or something.
So
what we have more to say. The key
your
one.
beard's growing in nicely.
Yeah, I need to shave it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know so.
All right.
It's itchy. The key one is now available in Argentina, Poland, and I think the Black Edition is now available in France. So
and Canada.
In Canada, yeah.
Oh yeah, this country.
The
small
frozen
country.
Canuck Iglooville place. That thing.
So is the key one available in Israel?
No. No.
You should fix that, Roy.
We are a
get
small
on that,
country. Roy. Just to realize, LG released their new LG G6 in Israel as the first country that receive the device because nobody else will buy this device. And we are technology advanced, but small market, 8 million people and maybe 5 million that can use a smartphone. So
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, in my business, a while back, it was amazing. Like Israel was coming out with piles of telecommunication equipment and software and whatnot.
Yeah, we are one of the most advanced countries in technology and startups, and
that's right. And that really opened my eyes, and that was like 25 years ago.
You can be a big in Israel if you sell like 80,000 devices in a year. It's not much.
Yeah, interesting. So there you go. All you have to do is clear out your basement for a warehouse.
The facial recognition that Apple added to the iPhone, the new iPhone X, is developed in Israel.
So yeah, what Dave was saying, go get yourself a container, put BlackBerry Radar on it, fill it up with BlackBerry P1s, float it over to Israel.
Yeah, and the new Krypton stuff.
Who will pay me? Who will pay me for this container?
I'll give you at least $10. $10 for sure from me.
Thank you very much.
Start crowdsourcing
Okay, no problem.
It's appreciated.
I'm an investor. I'm an investor in Roy Enterprises. Yeah.
Roy Inc. And then you've got yourself another BBM pin. We've got it all figured out, man.
I know. I'm just going to sit back and wait for my royalties, which is Roy all T's or something. Okay, so yeah. What time is it?
Some news from outside of BlackBerry. Should we talk about the one that angered some people? Something that got me some angry PMs and some angry comments and apparently had me called names and Telegram groups throughout the world. You know, when it came back online and they could speak again.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
So we've talked about it before here that we lost some people to Telegram from BBM. And the only reason I know that we lost them is because everybody that seemed to transfer over wanted to send a message to everyone saying that they went from BBM to Telegram and to find them there and click this link that I never clicked and I won't be clicking. So Telegram went down last week because one of their data centers experienced a power outage. Experienced a power outage, and that was mainly it was Asia, right, that suffered the outage.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then 6 days later, another data center suffered another power outage that took out Asia again. And you know, I wrote my little post about it.
Brad, was it Asia Vu? I'm just curious.
I had to think about that, like one, so it didn't work.
Or something.
But yeah, so I mean, if messengers, come on, guys, you want something reliable. You really do, right? This is something you want a message to go through. In cases of emergency, in cases of when you need to speak to somebody, you don't want to find out that it's down. You don't want to find out that the good doctor can't talk to you for, you know, the next day until Telegram comes back online. That is not that is not what you want to happen. Well, I mean, come on. I obviously wasn't pinpointing somebody, but this is there you have somebody that uses these messengers in his professional capacity as a doctor that went from BBM to Telegram, only to have the area of the world that he lives in go out twice in 6 days. I'm sorry. I think that speaks an amazing amount to what's going on in messengers when people are so willing to have something that's not reliable in order to have some functionality here that may not be there, which, I mean, honestly, Dave, you're on Telegram, right? Roy, are you on Telegram?
I have the application, yeah.
Okay, so what are we missing out on in BBM? Gift support within group chats and customized stickers. Is there really anything else?
There's much better video support. There's backgrounds, so like wallpapers on your chat screen kind of thing. That's much better. There's I don't know. There's a few other things that I'll be completely transparent and honest with you. I just don't give a shit. I'm trying to think of the things that are there, and I'm going to get crucified later for this. And there are some things that are interesting and a lot better about Telegram that are important to some people. Like I say, the video support is interesting. They have GIF or GIF or whatever you want to call it, embedded support. Other links and things that are better. And when you download something, there you can see that in the background or in another screen. Stuff that you saved. It sucks up a lot of space on your phone. If you're a pig about looking at these videos and things, it sits on your device and it's a pig.
John said in the chat that a lot more than 50 members in a group.
Yeah,
Telegram.
In this group that I'm in, there's 100 or something. And so there's some good things about it. And also, there's other bot things, like you can set up bots where if someone joins, there's this bot that says, hey, thanks for signing up or whatever, welcome or whatever you want to say from this bot. And this and that and the other thing. There's the this and the that and the other thing I'm going to get crucified for because some things are important to some people.
So how important are those things if you can't message somebody?
I just don't care about those things. Like my smartphone, I need it to send messages. I need it to communicate. I need to make phone calls. I need some core apps. I need to make sure that I'm doing the right thing with my phone in communicating with the people in my world. And BBM does absolutely everything I need it to do. It does more than I need it to do, but whatever. And I don't need this other piece of software, and I was curious about it. So being the curious person that I am, I joined this group, and I get it. It can look beautiful, but I find that its features clutter the conversation to a point where it is so much, excuse the expression, bullshit, that I almost don't want to look at it, because there's people putting, huge, emoticons in there, massive things, and animated GIFs all the time, and this and that and the other thing. So instead of just me putting a smiley in that you understand, that I, you understand what I mean about this smiley, you get it because you know me. Now there's this frickin' animated GIF thing from Norm in Cheers or something, and it's just this clutter that eats space on my phone and space on my screen that I really just couldn't give a shit about. But it's such a toy that everybody does it. So this conversation ends up being a veritable cornucopia of bullshit.
So when it goes down and you can't message anybody, how important are those functions, right? I mean, one of the things that I kept getting in response to my post is, well, BBM's gone down. And yes, BBM is it 12 years old now? Is that what it is, Roy? They just had their birthday again. Is it 12 years?
Yeah, 12.
They had one major outage. I believe it was in 2011 where it went out.
Yeah, I experienced that, and it was rude.
Yeah, it went out for like 4 days. It cost BlackBerry a lot of money, and that's really been their extent.
And a lot of bad rep too. Yeah.
That's really been their extent of major outages. There have been minor outages, which if you look them up, everyone that I've looked up, searched, found, and looked at has all been carrier outages. I have yet to find a second BlackBerry outage from BBM other than that one huge one. So if somebody has, information about an outage out there, first of all, double check it and make sure it was actually a BlackBerry outage and not a carrier outage, because there's been plenty of carrier outages throughout the years. And then let me know about it, because I found one. I found one in 12 years. Mm-hmm. Telegram had 2 in 6 days.
Yeah. And you know what, Brad? I'm glad you brought up the other. I'm glad you brought up the BBM outage, because that's fair. It's fair to bring it up, and it was at the time. That was a major freaking thing, because when you think about it, stuff like 9/11 happened, and people were absolutely gobsmacked that BlackBerry was still operational during those horrific times, and in other situations, that just being one of the major ones. There's lots of situations where BlackBerry BBM held up and other stuff failed. But when that failure happened, that's why it was such big news. That's why. Because it's been such a stalwart, unbelievable, nothing's foolproof, but such a great platform that people depended on it. And at that time, it was the thing. You had a BlackBerry, you had BBM, man, you were in. You had communication. That was it. So we all know what happened, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then move forward, and here we are in the world of people using the telegrams of this world, or the signals, or whatever the hell it is. And now they have some outages, and how does that feel, dude? Guys who are using that, how does that feel? Does it bring back any memories?
I have a feeling for a lot of them, it's bringing back memories of WhatsApp, who has its own Twitter account to inform people when there's outages, because it happens so much on WhatsApp. So I mean, again, I'm looking at reliability. You know, it's great that and you want to talk about services. Look what MTech has done with BBM over the last year, right? I mean, realistically, a lot of the people that, you know this, Dave, and you know this, Roy, a lot of the people were leaving BBM at a time when MTech was bringing new services in. And I don't know this at all. I have a very strong feeling that the reason that we were experiencing those group issues was because of what they fixed by doing this database split, right? MTech's BBM is moving forward. BlackBerry 10 BBM is staying in the same place. MTech brings in these new features, and there's hiccups, right? And since there has been this database split where people can't flip back and forth anymore, we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah,
we haven't had any more of those hiccups. Everything has been smooth sailing, perfect, exactly the way it's supposed to be. So I tend to think that's the issue. But people were leaving BBM because things were slowing down. There were hiccups. You might not see James and group today because there's some sort of sync issue. And I mean, you know, I'm sorry, James, but I'm not leaving BBM because I can't see you. But they ran to this platform again. 2 major outages for the same thing inside 6 days.
I don't know. I mean, it's part of it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Part of it is that people buy other pieces of hardware because BlackBerry is no longer in the hardware business, and therefore don't even have a piece of machinery that has BBM on it anymore. And because of that, or part of that is because other people don't have BBM. Now they're migrating to these other platforms, which have these other services or look and feel or whatever.
I don't think Telegram is pre-installed on any device.
No, it's not. I'm just saying that devices don't have that anymore unless they have the 7 bullets on the back. So you know, all I'm saying is that the opportunities are more out there for people to try these other things, and so they do. That's what people do. And when you know, a millennial or somebody picks up a new device, they're not necessarily thinking about BBM when they pick up a new device. They're trying this or that or the other thing, or they're doing what their family does or whatever they do. And so, you know, these new platforms come to be, and I don't blame people for trying Telegram. I don't blame them for trying it. I mean, what the hell? It looks good. It's nice. It's got a pile of features or whatever. To me, it's a big, huge cornucopia of abuse. When I look at this stream of crap, you know, everything's just big pictures and things and whatever. It's got nothing to do with communication and everything to do with a picture or something. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. I'd
let's
much
get
rather
to the nitty gritty then. Let's get to the nitty gritty, because you're right. I don't have a problem with people using other things. If Dave's on Snapchat, I don't care. If Roy's on Facebook, I'm going to look at him a little different, but I don't care. You know, the problem that I have with Telegram is that there's a large number of people that moved from BBM to Telegram that did exactly what we were used to seeing people do when they moved from BlackBerry to iPhone, right? They couldn't just go over there and try it and say, hey guys, I'm trying this out. Or they couldn't go over there and I mean, they could have left BBM and said nothing. But they didn't just do that. They had to attack BBM on their way out. And it's like, okay, guys, this service has provided you amazing service for the last decade.
Yeah.
In that service, and now you want to push everybody onto what you're on. You just want them to follow you because you followed somebody else and you don't want to take a stand. And then we have somebody that not only took to his BBM channel to, I'll say it, lie about BBM, make completely false attacks and completely false statements about the security of BBM and the functionality of BBM, and then came back on BBM to add us back that didn't follow him to this other service to send us daily messages about why we should follow. And I mean, I don't know about you guys who got invited back on, who didn't get invited back on, but I kept telling them every day, I didn't add you back so that you could lie. You know, what you're saying is flat lies. I was completely honest with him. You know me, I'm blunt. I'm very blunt. And I'm telling him he's flat out lying and don't be saying that. So I gave him warning, 1, 2, 3 days warning to stop. And I completely removed him from my BBM and completely removed him from my life, right? Only to find out that he was very upset in the Telegram group that Brad did that to him. But I mean, this is the issue I have. And this is people that are making this decision, which they're totally entitled to make. Don't try and push it on us, and don't lie about why they're doing it. You know, I mean, if you're moving from service to follow somebody, just be honest about it. Say, I'm a follower. I'm not a leader. I'm a follower, and I'm following this person onto this other service. Yeah, that's fine.
To me, it's not that emotional to me. To me, it's more functional. And by the way, Brad, don't take your hat off, because then people will see how blunt you are. Anyway, to me, it's
blunt, not bald, right? So.
To me, it's not an emotional thing. It's an observational thing. It's a technical thing. It's a clinical thing. I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care. What other people use doesn't really bother me. I'm not going to try a million apps. I got invited to this Telegram thing, and I thought, what the hell? I'll check it out. And it's interesting. There's a bunch of cool people in there. I like it because there's a bunch of cool people in there, but it's a mess. Because of what it allows. And people use and abuse that allowance. And to me, that makes it less useful because it's a freaking mess. It's a freaking mess.
It is an emotional thing, though. When you are promoting a product, you know, when you're evangelizing a product, right? And Dave says, hey, I'm trying out this other app. I don't care. If Karen says, hey, I'm in this app and I'm in this app. No.
You hate me.
Let me finish a thought, Dave. When, you know, because I'm naming people right now. When Karen's using both services, I don't care. Good on her. That's completely her choice. When Dawn left the service and said, hey, I'm moving to this. This is how you can find me if you want. I'm fine with that. That was his choice to make. When the good doctor decides to spend all of his time full on lying about BBM and its services and its security to try and force people off the product. Yes, I get upset about it. I get mad about it. I will tell him until I remove him from my BBM that he is lying about it. And I'm going to be blunt about it. It becomes an emotional thing. It becomes something I get angry about when someone full on lies to push their agenda. I don't care if it's about BlackBerry or politics or whatnot. I have an issue with that. So there, Dave. Roy, what's next?
I'm Canadian. I'm just not as freaked out about it. I don't know.
I think we finished for tonight.
No, we didn't. What about the good old iPhone? It's bursting at the seams with the goodness.
You want to speak about the iPhone? Really?
There's been a few. Okay, we have a new iPhone, right? A new iPhone came out, and not the X, not the 10, whatever you. Wait, what does Apple want us to call it?
X.
They want us to call it the X?
Yeah.
I thought they wanted us to call it the 10.
No, it's 10. I already got crapped on. I got crapped on for calling it X on purpose because I knew people would crap on me.
So they want it called the 10.
It's a 10, not an X, Dave.
The iPhone X is coming out later, and we've got the iPhone 8 right now, and people are getting the 8. And I've heard nothing positive about this.
I can't hear you because I'm on an iPhone 8.
Because who wants to write about a new iPhone when it's exact the same iPhone that the new iPhone is follower. This iPhone 7 with $200 more to pay.
But it's not. There's new features like Dave was just talking about. Some people have this feature, which the earpiece crackles to where they can't hear.
And
so that's a new feature that was brought to the 8.
You don't have an FM radio in the iPhone, so you can't turn on your radio.
Today it was coming out that there's 2 that I've seen so far where it looks like the phone has exploded. It looks like what we're used to seeing where the screen has popped out from the rest of the phone. But there's no flame marks. There's no evidence of any explosion. It looks like it's just popping open, and it's just open. It happened to one person while their phone was charging. Another phone was delivered to them that way. So
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, so it's literally bursting at the seams with iPhone goodness for these people, and iPhone has given an incredibly Apple has given an incredibly original statement saying they're researching it, which we will never get an answer for.
You opened.
So these are 2 problems. Yeah. And if you look at the media, right? This is the media that's been, let's call it the mainstream, MSM, mainstream media, but no, not that media. The big guys in the mobile tech world that have been pushing iPhone for the last decade. The narrative has changed. Like you look through your news feed now, people are upset about what is on this phone. They're upset about the wireless charging that, they offer this thing, but you can't buy the stuff to do it. People are buying other machines in order to charge it, which is something that I can't believe Apple is allowing to happen since they never follow any major tech. I think Dave was talking about that last week, that they were using a standardized tech, right? So people are actually wirelessly charging their phones right now. But like the notch that they decided to go with. And, looking at it from the outset, the same thing is it what's that other phone that has the notch around the camera? The Google guy that made his own phone.
Ugh.
I can't think of it.
I saw.
But there's another. Yeah,
I saw.
There's another phone out there with screen-to-screen display like Apple, and it's got a little notch cut out around the single lens camera, and then Apple's got the big notch across the top. And I mean, I'll be honest, looking at it on a TV commercial where you see the screen moving around that notch, the essential. Thank you, John. When I see that moving around the notch, I think that looks kind of cool, right? It does look cool. I think but everyone I'm hearing that has actually used it can't stand it, right? It's gone from being something that, oh, that's something new, to this is a horrible design flaw. It's amazing how fast things are changing for the iPhone right now. It's not getting all the love that it used to give to get.
Yeah, because they released an iPhone 10 device on 2017 with a 2012 technologies.
Yep.
That was the problem. One of the problems of BlackBerry when they released the BlackBerry 10. So
that's true. That is true. There's no denying that.
Do their homework.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, Roy brought it up a little earlier about, or was it offline or whatever, the technology based, on scanning your face comes from his home country.
Yeah,
and
in my apartment. They developed.
Yeah. It's in the container that's in his. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I respect the technology and all advances are interesting, and And being a geek, I love this kind of thing, but you know, does it work? Is it practical? I don't know. Everything's in advance. Is it going to be an epic fail? I don't know. Has Apple peaked? I don't know. I expected it 3 years ago, and it hasn't happened yet. Is this the time? I don't know. Kind of like how we started this thing. You know, is this BlackBerry's quarter turnaround? You know, is this the turnaround thing? I don't know. Sure looks like it. You know, but when are these guys going to learn that they can't in Canada anyway? Can't? I don't know. Shouldn't? I don't know. Make people spend $1,500 for what is, you know, has been over the last 3 years at least a kind of a commodity. It kind of bugs me that that's what people are going to pay for, or you know, that's what people are going to pay for a smartphone that has a gadgety thing in it that you know, couldn't even work properly on its debut. It's I don't know, man. I don't know.
John or no, it was Rico. I'm sorry, and chat pointed out, and I saw this too. The essential phone that we mentioned is really dead on arrival. It sold 5,000 units in the U.S. The phone that everybody was waiting for, the essential phone that was created by is it Rubin, the one of the co-founders of Google, whatnot. It's the phone that all these people were waiting for. Yeah, nobody else has seen it either. Nobody wants it. Essential.
Yeah, so just how essential was it then?
Not very essential. But it is one of those phones that has edge-to-edge screen, and it had a little notch cut out for the camera. But I mean, the edge-to-edge screen, it looks nice. It looks cool. It does. I'm not going to deny that.
Well, here's another thing. You know, another player has always been the Windows Phone for a while, and here we are in a world where Microsoft's leader is now sporting an Android device. And it's
the final nail in the coffin, Dave. Final nail in the coffin of Windows Phone.
Well, his deal is that he, taking a page out of John Chen's book, is that he wants to sell software to Android users. So, dear Bill, here's the coffee. Take a big sniff. And I'm not saying that it was a better idea than what you had. It's just reality of what the market has spoken. And so if you're going to make some money, then this is how you do it. And let's face it, it's a corporate world, and that's what corporations do. They need and/or want to make money, and they want to sell us products, so they do. So that's what they're doing. And Lord only knows what's going to happen next. I would be extremely interested in a Surface phone. I mean, why not? That would be a really cool device. Would I switch to it? I don't know. Is it likely now? I don't know. A year ago, I would have said yes, and today I'm way on the wrong side of that fence. I don't think so, but you never know. So being that Gates is sporting an Android phone and talking about selling Android apps for Microsoft apps, I'm not so sure we're going to see mobile Windows operating systems. But you get up in the morning and things change. In my business, man, oh man, does that happen?
No, it's not. The Windows Mobile, as we know it, is dead. You know, I mean, that Windows has come out with several operating systems for mobile over the years, and each one of them has failed, and here we are again. And I mean, let's have that conversation, since there's only 3 of us here, so it shouldn't take too long. But like I've seen over the last week, especially with this BBM pin thing coming about, and BlackBerry's earnings, a lot of people taking to social media, calling for the return of BB10, and you need to update BB10, and we need this and this, and I know, like, we have people within our own BBM group where what they keep talking about, what one specific person keeps talking about is BB10 provides a choice, right? Instead of just being stuck with Apple and Android, it provides a choice. It's that third choice that we need as a society. And I get that. And I would love for that to be the case. I love BB10 just like everybody else. It was a great platform, but it's stagnant right now. There's nothing. We shouldn't expect really anything more to come along the lines. And if it's working for you, love it. But if you want, this new feature in BBM, you're not going to get it on BB10. It's not going to happen. So there's no point in like attacking BlackBerry over it. It's just not going to happen. And we look at the mobile OS landscape right now, and we have Android is the big winner, right? That there's no denying that Android is the #1 operating system out there as far as the market is concerned.
It's dominant currently. Yes.
Right. And then you've got iOS as a very, very distant second place. And there's really nobody else. We've seen BlackBerry step away from their own operating system out of necessity. Now we're seeing Microsoft, which actually I'd say Microsoft did it first because they stopped producing phones before BlackBerry did. But they've stepped away, and whereas BlackBerry didn't have the money to go out there and pay these app developers to come in and make their apps, Microsoft did. Microsoft was paying to get these apps on the platform. They spent mega dollars to make this happen, and it didn't work for them.
Yeah, I get that, but that's not really where I'm going. My point would be that this thing is soon to become capable of running a laptop Windows Surface, not RT, a Windows Surface OS. So this thing will become powerful enough to be able to do that. It's
powerful enough to do it right now, but nobody cares, Dave. And I mean, realistically,
they would care if they could take their laptop or desktop experience with them. They would care.
You're on your PC right now. How much do you use Instagram on your PC? I can tell you that you don't use it at all because you can't. How much do you use Facebook on your PC?
Well,
How much
do you
use Twitter? No, you can't.
I don't use Facebook at all.
Okay. You can't post photos to Instagram on your PC. I discovered this as we were handing over the reins to Shot on BB to Alan. I have no idea. Instagram is mobile only. But the thing is, people want their phones to be these game toy gadget mobile arcades. That's what they want. You can put a full PC experience in a phone. People aren't going to buy it. They're going to buy what gives them the apps that they know that they like and play with. And that's what's happening. And people are so upset, and I am too, but people are so upset that really the mobile phone landscape right now is Android and iOS. I don't think any of the 3 of us here or anybody within our group, none of us is happy with that being the case, but it is the case. And if you look at personal computers, right? Because phones really just came, they're the modern thing of personal computers. How many major OSs are there out there for a personal computer? There's two. There's 2. It's exactly the same. You've got
for consumers,
Microsoft in number
but there's
1.
3 or more.
Then you could say there's multiples on a mobile platform too, Dave. There's BB10 out there. People are still using Palm. People
I know you're just talking about consumers.
Selfish. Yeah, I'm talking about there's 2 major players in mobile. There's 2 major players in PC. the little geek operating systems. I'm just calling them that because I consider myself a geek. I'm not considering that a bad thing, but you've got geek operating systems for people that want to do specifically what they want to do, and they're capable of doing it, and they know what they're doing. So you've got your Linux on a personal computer. You've got, I don't know what all you have on a personal computer. You also have BB10 and mobile that still works. You've got people that are running Selfish. You've got people that are running Firefox, even though I think that's completely dead now. You've got all these things going on there, but the landscape of the market is two. You look at the personal computer, there's two there. You look at mobile, there's two. I don't see any disruption coming there, and I don't see anybody being able to break in and be profitable with the way the market is now. There needs to be a major change.
Yeah, that's right. And of the two that you mentioned on PC platforms, be it Mac or Windows, which one of those would you see as being the possibility of taking over the mobile space?
Neither. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't see either of them doing it, because I had a 7-inch Windows tablet. I got rid of it. Windows does not scale. It is not friendly in a small format. It is not. And I know that they could go put a different UI on there. I know they can. They could work it to where you had a BB10 looking UI. They could do that. But I'm telling you, your experience, what you're thinking about how great it would be to run the same apps on a Windows phone or on a Windows computer that you could on a Windows phone. And you're not going to get all those app builders or program makers to give you both a desktop experience and a mobile experience that works in both cases. You really want to talk about who's going to get there, and I think it's Android, because they're working on it right now. You look at, I don't know if we're ever going to see the Superbook, but Samsung has their DeX. You've got all these different companies giving you a desktop experience from a mobile experience.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's an interesting world we live in, and I appreciate all the offerings and opportunities. We all have our likes and dislikes and hopes and dreams. Mine's always been to have one thing that I can plug in at home and plug in at work or be mobile with. It is the same thing everywhere.
That's just a dream, and I really think, I think BlackBerry was at the forefront of being able to do that with BB10, but everything got pushed behind.
Yeah,
but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, QNX this close.
I think it's time to end. We're almost 2 hours.
Well, shut up, Roy.
Yeah, I think Roy.
I want to know what do you think, Roy? Because you saw where I was going with that, right?
Yeah.
The market.
It's a combination. The market don't like multiple OS.
Right.
And we saw, like you said, Microsoft paying for Instagram and a lot of apps, and it collapsed on them. So that means that even if BlackBerry were paying to those apps, it doesn't mean that it was a success. And I have a Windows 10 tablet with a keyboard, and it's nice, but it's hard to use on a 10-inch screen. So on a tablet, I might be by Android. I think that there is a separation between the mobile OS and the computer OSs, and it will the first company that will crack it, how to make a computer OS and a mobile OS that will work together. That's the OS that will win the technology war. But until now,
and my money's on Microsoft to do it.
I don't think that Microsoft will do it.
Yeah.
Unless they will change their UI.
Completely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, from just a scaling standpoint, you can put a mobile app on a desktop screen, and it works. You can't take a desktop app and put it on a mobile screen and see anything. I mean, it's and not just because of my old ass eyes. I mean, it just doesn't work.
And there are softwares that are better to use on a desktop device. You won't use your video editor, your sophisticated video editor on a mobile, because first you will look like, and your video will be crap. It's nice to have the light versions and things like that, but it's not for professionals. I will not see any professional graphic designer will work on Photoshop or, I don't know, on a mobile device.
No, we know that, but I mean, we're talking about quick edit things on the go, or plugging it into a dock and doing a desktop experience. I mean, there's two different things there.
I think Windows needs, in order for Microsoft to do it, they need to throw away everything they have and start from scratch, because you're not going to get developers to include two UIs in everything that they do. Whereas coming from a mobile OS, honestly, any mobile OS, from a mobile OS putting it to a big screen, you may have people that provide two different UIs, but you don't have to. I just think it's a huge hurdle for Microsoft to go mobile, where it's a nominal to non-existent hurdle for Google to go to desktop, or, I mean, going back to BlackBerry 10 for them to do it, or Apple to do it. I just think it's extremely easy for them to go from mobile to desktop, whereas it's going to be incredibly hard to go from desktop to mobile.
I think
but my developers have to be involved in either situation, and they either want to do it or they don't. Our CRM is an example. You're either going to get Google to do it, which they don't, or any of their developers to do it, and they don't, in order to facilitate something for users in a corporation, and or you're going to get the Microsoft developers who already did that for users to change the way they do it to keep those customers.
They weren't able to keep them on their mobile phones.
I think we all know that sooner or later, the laptop that I'm using to do this is not going to be in existence. It's going to be a mobile device.
It's now a mobile device.
Yeah, a laptop is a mobile device.
It's a mobile device.
Well, laugh all you want. You know what I'm saying?
For some reason,
it used to be this big stupid desktop thing on your underneath your desk or on top of it or whatever, with a separate screen and whatnot. And so I'm currently using a laptop. Whatever. It's a mobile device. But you know what I'm saying? Sooner or later, it's going to be a truly mobile device where you pick it up off your desk and you go. And so that is going to happen.
You will always need
not like it's not going to happen. It is going to happen.
You will always need a laptop for at least the next 20 years, because, for example, our Blogcast.
No.
You need to manage the YouTube site, and you need to manage the Hangout, and you need to manage.
You'll have something to plug your mobile device into a pod that'll give you your multiple screens and your mouse and your keyboard and whatever.
You're going the exact opposite direction of Blackjack, where Blackjack says a mobile device is all I need is a phone and my email and messaging, and I have a laptop for everything else. You're saying that everything should go through your phone, and I actually love that idea. Like, I want that.
It will.
But at the same time, I recognize the fact that as technology moves forward and as these phones get more powerful to where they can do everything this laptop can do right now, this laptop's going to get more powerful because people that are making videos, people that are making music, people that are engineers and making graphics and games are going to be moving forward at the same pace that these guys are moving forward to put this power into this phone. So I don't think there's going to come a point where game makers and engineers and artists are going to be using this for what we're doing right now, or, you know, for a laptop. I think we're right at the cusp of the level where someone like me could easily have a computer that's based on a phone. But what going back to my main goal, it comes down, I mean, my main point, it comes down to what the market can handle, what the market wants. And everybody's extremely upset in our own world, in our own community, that BlackBerry isn't doing anything with BB10, right? The market just isn't there for it. They tried, they can't throw money down a hole trying to do this again. And we can look at the PC world and see that this is the case. The PC world has room for 2 operating systems right now. That is all the market will hold. That's the same thing that's happened to cell phones. And it sucks, but it's a reality.
Well, we shall see. We shall see what happens.
No, I love your idea of a brain that you take from home to work and you just slam it in a dock and you're good to go. I want that more than anything. That's what got me so excited about BB10 with Thorsten Hines and his mobile computing. That is what I want. But I know that me being able to do that is one story. I know that you being able to do that with your music creation is a different story. I know that Blackjack being able to do that with his real life job isn't going to happen because of what I said. As technology moves forward, it doesn't just move forward in mobile, it moves forward in everything. And if you look at, I mean, what was it, 2-3 years ago, say 4 or 5 years ago, we all thought at this point in time, we'd all be sitting here with tablets. Tablets were going to replace our PC. Market doesn't want tablets. Tablets are nothing but something for games and music. That's it. And don't include the Surface as a tablet because it's really not.
Well, it is, but I get what you're saying. You know, to me, unless something absolutely weird happens, that's going to be my next, you know, it'll replace this laptop I'm talking to you on right now. That's going to be my next box, unless something better happens. And you know, then I'll be able to use it for work and for this and whatever I want on the couch or Netflix or whatever, whether I need a keyboard or not, I don't care. That'll be it.
Okay, if Erica was here, she'd be yelling at us.
Yeah.
But she would have started out yelling at us anyway. So
Roy is yelling at us now.
Yeah, I'm yelling for like at least an hour, but nobody listens.
Okay, let's call it. We'll get back to group and see if the 3 of us like each other anymore, and we'll be back next week. Hopefully, with more than just the 3 of us.
Like 5440. I love you all.
Good night.
Good night.